Let there be shooters.
Hey, what's up? Wes here. Thanks a lot for tuning in. So, as probably most of you already know, the Wii is closing the eShop down in January of 2019, but you won't be able to add funds to your account to buy these games after March 26th, 2018. So technically, you have a little less than 3 months left to buy some games, unless you have money already sitting in your account, which I doubt is the case for the majority of us. So I already made a video showcasing some of the WiiWare exclusives and some of the higher end virtual console games for the Wii that I think most people would enjoy. So check out that video if you haven't already. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to showcase 3 more virtual console games that I think are definitely worth getting before the eShop is shut down for good. So TurboGrafx-16, as most people probably already know, is very expensive. I personally don't own one. I didn't grow up with one. So I am playing a lot of these games for the first time through the virtual console. So these 3 games I picked up just recently, and they're pretty good. So I'm not going to do a full-on review. I will save that probably for a later episode of Let There Be Shooters, and I apologize that I haven't released one lately, but they take a lot of work and yeah, whatever. I am going to have one out soon, though. I have one in the works. I'm actually working on a collaboration with someone, the Shmup Master. You've probably heard of him. So just be patient. I will have a new episode out, but in the meantime, let's take a look at these 3 TurboGrafx games that I think are definitely worth picking up.
The first game on here is a side-scrolling shooter. Well, come to think of it, all 3 of them are, but this is definitely the most traditional of the trio. The beginning cutscene of Dead Moon explains that a comet hurtling towards Earth ends up crashing into the moon, and when scientists arrive to investigate, discover a superior evil alien race. And you know what that means. They want the humans dead. The game begins on planet Earth and starts out simple enough. Swarmed by baddies, you can eradicate them with several different weapons, each of which can be powered up to a maximum of 4 levels. Honestly, I don't like any of the weapons aside from the default, which spreads out once powered up. I can't even begin to tell you how much I despise the blue laser. Each time you take a hit, your weapon's level decreases until death. I really like shooters that utilize this mechanic, and believe me, it is welcome here. While Stage 1 is pretty much a pushover, and Stage 2 isn't much harder, Stage 3 walks up to you and kicks you right in the fucking balls. God damn, I spent 30 minutes replaying this stage before I finally beat it. Stage 4 is even harder. Thank your boogeyman of choice that there are unlimited continues. The game also offers orbs that shield you, but in my opinion are pretty worthless until you grab enough orb icons to where they actually rotate around you. I prefer the homing missiles, cause you can only have one or the other. While the background graphics look great for a TurboGrafx title with an abundance of parallax scrolling, the enemies are a bit bland and basic. In fact, Dead Moon is pretty much a basic shooter, and that's not a bad thing. Sometimes I have the most fun with simple shoot the shit out of everything games that don't rely heavily on gimmicks. You get bombs. Good enough, dude. The music, on the other hand, is not bad at all, with some tracks being extremely catchy. With Natsume's name on it, you really shouldn't expect any less, although they only published it. Stage 1's music reminds me of a song that I can't quite put my finger on. Maybe a really old NoFX song? I'm not sure. Somebody help me out here. If you're a shooter fan, download this bad boy. It offers 6 stages, 4 of them grueling, for a total of $1 per stage. Now how can you argue with that? Developed by Namco and released by NEC in 1990 for the TurboGrafx, Ordyne is an arcade port of a Japanese exclusive. The game stars 2 protagonists named Yoichiro Tomari and his Chinese assistant, Sunday Chin. Too many jokes! Anyway, the game is a cutesy shooter or a shoot-em-up, which has 2-player simultaneous play. I love shooters that offer co-op play, but unfortunately, I was only able to capture footage playing with my 3-year-old nephew. This game has a lot of similarities to another cutesy shooter, Fantasy Zone. In both, you have the ability to drop bombs, earn money, visit shops, and buy special weapons. And the thing I hate about purchasing weapons in Fantasy Zone is also present here in Ordyne. They only last for a limited amount of time. There will be times that you purchase a weapon from a shop only to be subsequently met with obstacles to dodge sans baddies, and once enemies do show up, the weapon runs out. I prefer limited ammo over a time limit, but whatever. It doesn't ruin the game. The graphics are typical of Namco's style and look as if it could have easily been ported to the NES. The music is great, with some of the tracks getting stuck in my head days after playing. Boy, I really like the TurboGrafx sound chip. The system is brimming with catchy tunes. The game is pretty challenging at first, but once you start to get the hang of things and begin to memorize the stages, you'll become an expert in no time. That's not to say that the game is easy though, cause it's definitely not. With only 5 continues at your disposal, you'll be replaying a ton, which makes knowing where to be much easier. For example, some stages allow you to fly at the top of the stage or to the bottom. Usually one of these paths are brutal, while the other is much more forgiving. While Ordyne isn't going to blow anyone away with impressive aesthetics and or groundbreaking mechanics, the game is a ton of fun, and for only $6, why the hell not? Now here's a game that'll make you go, what the fuck? Cho Aniki translates to Super Big Brother, or at least I hope it does. I'm sure Gajillionaire will correct me if I'm wrong, but anyway, this game is just freaking out there. From the get-go, the game is just fucking weird. Only the Japanese could come up with something so strange, and I love it. The enemies are, well, see for yourself. What?
What's the matter?
Ain't you never seen a naked chick riding a clam before?
You have the ability to select between 2 different characters at the beginning of the game. A man, Idaten, or a woman named Benton. Glenn Benton? These characters are basically the same with one major difference. The charge shot. I am not a big fan of the charge shot in shooters, simply because it leaves you vulnerable while charging. But Cho Aniki does it right, damn it. Your rapid shot continues while charging, so the longer you charge, the stronger the shot will be, depending on how many power-ups you collect to increase the ferocity of your standard shot up to 10. These decrease by 1 each time you die. The charge shot decimates enemies to the point where it becomes necessary to use, and knowing when to kill using only the standard shot while saving the charge for more difficult baddies. Benton's charge shot, on the other hand, fires off in a V shape, so compared to that of Idaten's blast straight ahead, which character to choose is a simple decision. The game's difficulty is extremely sporadic. Some areas and or bosses are fairly easy, while others are simply brutal. Of course, having options helps out a lot. These options come in the form of spinning Speedo men. What? Come on now! Flying muscular men in banana hammocks shooting bullets is perfectly normal. Seeing as this game was developed by Messiah, the same company who developed Wings of War, which has homoerotic themes of its own, it's really not that strange. On second thought, yes. Yes it is. The game stages are also all over the place. All stages are made up of several sections loaded with mini-bosses. When you die, you restart from a checkpoint. In-game checkpoints are fairly generous, while continuing ones are not. At least they're unlimited.
5, 4.
So yeah, this game is like a bad acid trip come to life, so of course the soundtrack is as equally strange, right? Damn straight, the soundtrack is insane. The first stage consists of lullaby-like tunes with opera-sounding vocals in the mix.
5.
This right here sounds like something you'd hear on a Devin Townsend album. Or check out this thrashy boss theme. And do you think Cabana music is simply for Parodius? Think again. If you're only going to download one of these games, make sure it's Cho Aniki, as I promise you've probably seen very little like it. And it's a really good game. It only has 5 stages, but they are pretty long, especially stage 3, which I swear feels like half of the frickin' game. This one is a bit more since it's an import, but it is definitely worth it.
Hell yeah, download these 3 right now. These are some great shooters, and the TurboGrafx-16 is just loaded with them. It's just a damn shame that the Wii-Shop is closing down forever and these games will no longer be available for download. But actually the good news is that the Wii U also has some TurboGrafx-16 games on there now. My Wii U didn't connect online for almost 2 years. It had problems, and I was completely unaware of it, but I finally got it reconnected just a month or 2 ago, and I've recently discovered that a lot of the TurboGrafx-16 games are, or have already been moved over to the Wii U. So I think it was Lords of Thunder I had on my last list. I swear to God, like a day or 2 after I released that video, the Wii U released that game on the Virtual Console. So there is a good chance that these games will be re-released on the Wii U Virtual Console, but do you really want to take that chance? I mean, you could wait until the deadline, I guess, but I recommend getting them now. So do it. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. I swear that I will have another Let There Be Shooters episode soon, so just stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, I will catch y'all later.